This is one of the nooks that I avoided when we were trailblazing. There's actually a trail over there in that bright strip nearby. But what we've got here is several rectangular formations with rocks. You can kind of see that. And then there's another one over there that way. And a giant rock pile right here. And another rock pile over there. Now, one thing, I don't want the forest mulcher coming through the rocks, but this is a ideal nook campsite. You see how we have oak trees and hardwood trees, not that many pines here. We have easy access to the trail, and then we have a little bit of structure. If we were setting up a tent in here, we might rake out the area a little bit more to make it more level. But that's what you want to look for on your property. You want to look for little nooks and crannies and little tiny interesting areas. Now, below here is an access road. So there's another contour, a level contour access road below this. But again, I didn't clear it out because we don't really need to have it. We can walk it. I can survey it and walk it. Let me get a little picture of this side. See the rock walls? This might be fun to metal detect in. It could have been the foundation for a shed. Hard to tell. But it gives us kind of a flat area where you can put in a couple hammocks. And it tells me that this used to be open because there's some flowers over there. But we can put in a couple hammocks here and make best use of this space. Now, if you go further over to this edge, what we're going to find is it goes downhill. So my walking trail is about past those oaks, large oaks, which could have been old. See, this stuff could have been an old logging trail. Coming around that way, and I can intersect to the path there. But downhill is just the ditch. It's just the giant ditch. I do know at the bottom of the ditch there's water, but you know, it's not something you want to traverse up and down. So again, in our campsite design, in our forestry design, to get the most value from the land, you're going to look for little nooks. This is like on the top of a hill. It's got nice hardwood trees around it. You don't have to worry about branches falling out all the time. And it's close to the access point, close to the path. And the area around it, minimal value for anything else because it's kind of near a big ditch. And you know, we can have, of course, we can have the goats out here or the hogs out here to kind of stir up the soil and break down some of this matter on the ground. But ultimately, it's a nice level pad. See, this nice level pad, you can put yourself up your big dining fly, and then folks can camp around the outer area and have little shady nooks to do summer camping and such. Now, let me show you how close it is to the trail. So you're going to walk out this way. A lot of deadwood, by the way, around here that we could take down and use for firewood. But over here, we're just a few steps from our trail. See? So we got our trail here. So again, there's a rock pile that gives us the idea of where the location is, and you can walk on in there and set up some different types of camp. Now, I would like to take the rock pile and probably build a pavilion back here. Anywhere that you would set up a dining fly would be a great place for a pavilion. And there might be enough rocks in there to get a nice little foundation around that pavilion. But from there, camping, you come right out here, you're right here on the trail, you're out in the openings. So you can pull up your four-wheeler. This trail is not quite big enough to bring a truck back here or anything. But again, you want camping sites that you can hike in. You want little nooks like this where you're making best use of the land. We're actually on a ridge right now. And then we've got other camping sites down this way. Now, I'm not offering this land for camping. I'm trying to show you how to do this on your own land and ultimately how to get more from your land. Day one, cut some trails, start camping. We're actually pretty close to the property line here. So it gives me access to survey, and I actually didn't I didn't clear the property line back here because of the slopes and hills. There's no sense clearing it. As long as I can take a brush axe through and clean out a walking path along the property line from time to time, I don't need to have this wide of access. So I worked at a scout camp over summer. I've enjoyed scout camps. I designed this particular property to be like a scout camp. We're not going to be able to use it right away for its intended agricultural purposes, but if I start opening up the land and I start making it availability for hunting, I did see a couple deer right down in this area while I was walking over, and I make it a setup for family hiking and camping, then I'm getting value out of the land day one. As we use the land for hiking and camping, we'll pick up a lot of this deadfall. We'll cut down trees that are dead. That's going to help revitalize the forest itself. I'm actually learning timber framing, so if we did a timber frame shelter out here, even if we just had a canvas roof, then we've got something of value. We're increasing the usability and utility. So when I say increasing utility value, what I mean is what can you do with the land? There's a lot of out-of-state owners that have land they can't do anything with because they haven't developed it properly. I've talked with people who want to have a pond. They want to have, by the way, this ditch up here would make a good finger pond because I need to bridge it to traverse the property line. But they have a lot of ideas of what they want, and they don't get it accomplished because it does require somebody to walk the land, somebody to do a proper design, and see, like right here, this is another good little campsite. The deer were right in here. Bed it down. So there's a campsite up there, a campsite down here. If my son and his friends want to come out here and camp, they're welcome to do so. If the local, you know, a lot of my friends, we were talking about camping out here, I can start using the property right away. Now again, you don't want to open the property up for unlimited, you know, visitors to camp on your land. Some areas require permits. So here's another little nook, another little campsite here. But if you design with this in mind, you're again going to get immediate access and use out of the land. So here's that big ditch I was talking about. So you know, you're not going to cross a ditch like this with equipment, and it runs water when it rains. So, but we can put a little rope bridge across it. You can put a little you know, recreational bridge if you want to continue to hike the property perimeter. Trails on the perimeter of the property gives you longer hiking trails, but then cross trails, so you can see that's on a zigzags through there. These little cross trails give you access to key points of interest. And I'm going to get right back on this trail over here because there's one more campsite right in this nook corner. So this is kind of a family camping location. And I'm not offering camping, by the way. That if you visit www.prosperityhomestead.org, I can get you a list of campsites in the area. This is private property, and it's not available at this time for camping. But we're going to show you one more little nook because this is about design. This is about how do you design your property to get maximum value. So see this little nook here? So here's the trail, and then right off the trail but upslope is a camp area. Now again, there's a lot of fallen brush. That tells me we get a lot of wind cutting through here, so I don't want to be under a bunch of pines, so I would thin out this a little bit more on the top. But I'm going upslope and I'm between the turnaround. So there's a trail at the top of the hill and there's a trail at the bottom of the hill. And that trail loops like a horseshoe through another campsite over to here. So what you end up with, if I put a pavilion at the top of the hill where the rock pile is, you end up with a central dining area, and say you have family, teenagers, whatever, that they can camp a little bit away from mom and dad, and ultimately everybody gets a little bit of privacy. Everybody enjoys. So if you're interested in trail design, you're interested in setting up your property for recreational use, and then of course all of this makes it interesting. If I'm herding goats through here, I could actually do some primitive camping while I'm moving animals through the land, and it really just get a lot more out of the land. Can you see how this day one you can start getting more out of the land? If you've got a remote property somewhere and you want to open that property up, you want to get better hunting land. The deer bed in this lower area, I could have got a shot on those deer from the top down, and my backstop would have been all this soil. So again, hiking trails, campsites, hunting, preservation, all of this together makes the land worth more. Having trails keeps people on trails rather than wandering through the woods. Using the deadfall for firewood cleans up the floor of the forest rather than cutting down good quality trees. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.